Run for your lives. Adam Copeland has a board with some nails in it. And oh my God, he just swung it at Christian Cage's crotch. He connected with Christian Cage's crotch. And he turned Christian Cage's crotch into a crotch that'll need to be crocheted back together by a bunch of elderly matrons with their powers combined. Can they crochet Christian Cage's crotch back together? Highly unlikely, as Gorilla Monsoon would say. But these elderly matrons will say, oh my God, oh dearie, Christian Cage, your crotch will need to be crocheted back together. We will do our absolute best. But Christian Cage couldn't take his crotch being hit and pulverized and turned into just a cornucopia of goo and viscous liquid. So he said, I quit. And Adam Copeland is now the TNT champion of the company. Not really of the world, because TNT does not encapsulate the world. Even though TNT executives may think that they encapsulate the world, they do not. But it's not gonna end there. It's not gonna end with Christian Cage's crotch being turned into a crotch that will need to be crocheted, because Copeland's going to have a bigger board with bigger nails, and then he's going to have a board with nails so big they'll destroy the world. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. And I say this show because even though it was technically 2 shows, they did them back to back, and good job. They had 3 hours of programming and still went over time. And because of the fact that even though my DVR does record over an hour, I probably should have set it for a little bit longer. I didn't. Fortunately, I caught the rest on the YouTube clip that they had, but God damn it, guys. God damn it. That being said, there were some good things on this show. It was a hot crowd in a smaller arena. Apparently, the capacity in the Coca-Cola Coliseum is around 7,700. That's good. They had 6,500 people there for, according to WrestleTix. And you know what? Even if they just had 6,000, even if some couldn't make it, still a pretty raucous crowd. Footage of Copeland and Christian Cage arriving, and as well as Okada in a very fancy car. The crowd was hot right off the bat. I will say that was very nice. Run more mid-size arenas like this in various markets, and it'll look better, it'll sound better, it'll cost less, even though Khan does have a lot of money. His dad has a lot of money. They are actually going to be running in Everett, Washington on May 15th. As of this recording, I am planning to go. The tickets are going on sale hours after this review goes up, and hopefully I'll be able to go. I gotta be honest, though, there were things on the show that made me question, do I really want to go if they're going to do some of the stuff here? But we'll get to that. We will get to that. Shivani is in the ring. Shivani and Renee were all over the goddamn show here. Brings up Mercedes Moné to a big pop. I hate the theme. I'm sorry. I do. The crowd's into it. You know what? It'll probably be cool to hear live because you'll be into the CEO chants. She's still on a high. She says pretty much the same stuff she said before. There really wasn't a lot of new material here. Her match with Willow nearly ended her career, and that, you know, she pitched to a package in the truck that she had them put together. She's an iconic global star, I guess. Mercedes, Sasha, whatever name you want to go by, she does have a big fan base. I don't know how well this is going to work out, especially since she has said in interviews she's not finished in WWE. This is just a pit stop. New Japan footage, which was nice to see. Minor setbacks make for major comebacks. I'm here to lead a global women's revolution. Good luck with that with con booking. And there you go. She talks about how Julia and Sky got in her business, and then the lights out and Sky tries to attack her, Julia tries to attack her, and then they get chairs. Now this is going to be a show-long arc as far as starting with the women and ending with the women. And then Willow and Chris show up with chairs, and then the lights go out, and suddenly Julia and Sky are gone. Likely under the ring, who knows? And then Willow teases, am I going to hit her with the chair? Boom, boo, 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 boom. But she doesn't. Then Marvez with Okada and the Bucks. Oh boy, the young Blucks, as David Crockett called them. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really want to hear the Blucks or the Bucks, or I don't want to hear either of them talk. Okada actually can speak English pretty well. A lot of people don't realize that. So Okada gets a big pop, and then Renee basically says, hey, Kingston said he was going to disprove Okada. He was going to disprove the myth of Okada. She's there at ringside. Why don't you just pitch to a goddamn package before Okada made his entrance? Whatever. Okada against Eddie Kingston for the Continental Crown title. Now, I could have swore when they did the Continental Crown Tournament, whatever the hell it is, that they, you know, the G1 style tournament that they did, I could have swore that it was to combine the Ring of Honor, the New Japan Strong, and then make this new championship and have it just be these 3 titles that somebody would win. Now, I could have been wrong, but I thought that was the initial pitch. There's nothing wrong with making them separate titles because that's what All Japan did. I want to say Noah did it. Maybe Noah didn't. Maybe I'm just thinking All Japan and just the fact that a bunch of All Japan guys went to form Noah because Mrs. Baba couldn't run shit. Anyway, nevertheless, the 3 titles are separate now. So this is just for the newly minted Crown Championship. The crowd was hot right off the bat. There was a lockup. There were chops and kicks. Okada slowed it down, hit a DDT on the floor, focused on the neck. Kingston did focus on the arm, trying to take away the Rainmaker. We cut to the Blocks and Khan doing fake stuff like they know how to run a goddamn major league production. They don't. This company succeeds in spite of the fact that Khan is not a very good boss. And an STO by Eddie. We did get a nice sliding elbow for 2. A big drop kick because Okada hits a hell of a drop kick. Back fist, but Eddie couldn't get the cover until, a little bit later, just a 2 count. We get a blocked Rainmaker, which was nice. Even though Eddie fell, he blocked it enough, like Wonder Woman, the old MST3K werewolf reference. And Okada hurt his arm. But then, while the referee's distracted, I thought he was going to hit the low blow. No, he just got an eye gouge. Missed back fist, and then he tried for a high kick, but he got hit with a driver, and then got hit with the Rainmaker, 1, 2, 3, and Okada is the new Continental Crown Champion. So, Eddie is New Japan Strong and the Ring of Honor World Champion now. Okay. They have too many championships. Way too many. I know that Khan is running Ring of Honor separately, and he's also having a working relationship with New Japan, but there's way too many championships. I know he's got a big roster, but come on. Here's Pac. We're going to have the next challenger, assuming Pac doesn't take off back to whatever part of the UK he's from. Renee is with Swerve and Nana. He has a chain, and he's coming for Joe, because he choked out Hangman with the chain. Renee is with Willow, Chris, and Stokely. So, Mercedes is the CEO, and Stokely is sure enough to be the CE Gnome. Mercedes stares down Chris. Hard not to focus on Chris Statlander. So, Willow does say, I'm a very different Willow Nightingale when weapons are involved. Oh boy, don't worry, we know. And then Hook took on Jericho, who's washed as fuck. That theme for Jericho is shit. It's to hide the fact also that, 1, nobody was really singing for Judas anymore. 2, they're trying to make him Lionheart. He's going to, back to his roots. Hook threw Jericho around quite a bit. Jericho proved he just physically is shot. He can't do anything. He is just winded. Even if he cuts some weight, he still can't do anything. He does hit up. He tries to turn out from a German. He does hit a lion salt, sort of. He tries to fight out. He fights out of the red rum. Tries for the lion tamer or the walls of Jericho, and then gets rolled up 1, 2, 3. So Hook gets the victory. Did it do anything for Hook? Time will tell, because Jericho has not been able to do anything beneficial for anybody he's feuded with. Speaking of things that aren't beneficial, Adam Cole on my television screen. Him and the Hammer horror style chair and upset at Wardlow. He had one job, because I mean, you were going to be the champion, and now if we lose any of the titles, you're done. Wardlow has to be on his way out. Maybe he's informed the company he's not going to be around. I guess I don't know why else. This Kingdom stuff, this Undisputed Kingdom stuff, is stupid. Nothing against the participants. Just they were treated like goose. This whole thing is not working at all. It wouldn't even be working if Cole was healthy. And then Renee is with Jericho. He's proud of Hook, a future world champion. We'll see about that. I'm not saying that Hook doesn't have the talent, but we'll see. Yeah, he's got a proposition for Hook next week. Shivani brings out Ospreay. Now, last time Ospreay was there in Toronto, he was a naughty boy. He apologized because he faced Omega at Forbidden Door, which was a pretty good show, even with some issues. And he's here for the betterment of AEW. I mean, they need all the help they can get at this point. And how Danielson took on Shibata. I did catch some of Collision. I caught enough of it to know that Danielson and Shibata had a pretty good match. And Edge brought out a weapon that had me fearful for the main event. Don't worry. Copeland, sorry. Copeland, Edge, whatever. But he's going to... Basically, the idea is that Danielson face Shibata. Ospreay's going to face Shibata. He did say about filling Danielson's shoes, but he couldn't because his shoes were too small. Bruv. I know it's brother over in the UK. It just sounds funny with Ospreay saying it. And there we go. He did face Shibata years before. Shibata beat him. But he's a lot different. Now, Shibata has a new brain, so maybe Will isn't actually going to be the guy to, the guy to take down Shibata because he's got the new gigantic brain. So, we get a package on Copeland and Cage. And Tony Storm, Timeless Tony Storm, and Mariah May took on Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. Yes, Thunder Rosa on my television. Thank you. Thank you. It's about time Thunder Rosa was on their flagship program again. I know that they can't feature everybody all the time, but they have one of the most talented wrestlers on their roster. Man or woman, animal, vegetable, mineral, doesn't matter. One of the most talented women, one of the most talented wrestlers they have. I know she just came back from her back injury, even though she had been cleared for a few months. They didn't find anything to do for her until December. But they're building this thing with Rosa wanting to go after Tony because she never technically lost a championship. There was the interim champion thing going on, and then Rosa was like, I need to relinquish this. My back's kind of messed up. I'm glad she's healthy because I was really worried that she was going to have to retire, and I love Thunder Rosa. What a fucking talent. Rosa targeted Tony. There was some good stuff here. I do like the look of Mariah May. I think that stuff works for her, the Rockstar Tony look. Luther exists as an on-screen character for some reason. I don't think he's really beneficial. This wasn't bad. There was tension with the faces because Deonna still has unfinished business with Tony. But Rosa also has unfinished business with Tony. And we get the butt bump. And Rosa somehow manages to get a jackknife 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Pretty surprising. And Rosa Payne Tony. Deonna doesn't look very happy. We could get a 3-way at Dynasty. There we are. But Thunder Rosa getting back in the championship picture, I'm all for it. If she doesn't end up being Tony, her going after the TBS championship and becoming that champion I'd be for that. Thunder Rosa should hold gold again sometime in 2024. Swerve comes out to a pop. He swerves when he drives, and then he took on the Butcher and beat him pretty quickly. He beat him very quickly. The Butcher got a pop because he's from Buffalo, and I guess Buffalo and Toronto just have a kindred spirit. But yeah, he won with a short arm scissors. And then Swerve calls out Joe about how he respected him until he met him, and then he just started to hate him. And he basically would choke him with this chain, but his big fat neck won't allow that. Swerve wants a shot. Joe shows up and basically says, "What to do with someone like you, Swerve?" Oh boy, it's Triple H and Booker T. No, it's not that. It just I kind of got flashbacks to that. If he tells Swerve to fetch him a towel, though, that's it. Okay, let's just can the storyline right there. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Triple H and Booker T. Oh boy, no, it's about a WCW guy getting beat down. Sure it was Bruce Pritchard, you lying sack of shit. So, basically, if you want to stand toe-to-toe with me, you believe you can box a god, and then he knocks the fans and says, you know what, I'll give you what you want. Then Don Callis, unfortunately, brings the whole thing down, saying, you're really good, Swerve, but Takeshita has just as many wins as you, and he has wins outside of the Don Callis fan. What? I don't think any of that made sense. I wanted to tune Callis out, which was easy to do. The fans are booing, and also, I do not care for Don Callis at all. Hopefully he was away from the women's locker room. If you know, you know. And Swerve basically says, you know what, I'll face Takeshita, but he just kind of blows Callis off, and then I'm coming for Joe. Copeland and Christian Cage. I Quit match for the TNT Championship. Won the sing-along with Copeland's theme, and it was cool to be there for Adam Copeland's debut at Wrestle Dream, which I know was just about 5.5 months ago and feels like a lifetime ago. It really does. Look, these two are best friends. They've meant a lot to each other. I wish that this was taking place on an even bigger stage, but I'm glad they're getting to do what they want to do. And they're getting paid a lot of fucking money to do it. 20 minutes left, and we are going over. We are majorly going over. Actually, with the entrances and with everything, we had about 5 minutes of stuff before we got to that. Holy shit chance before the bell. Taz did say Edge. Look, it happens. I'm not going to knock there. That happens. They instantly went into the crowd. There was Toronto Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins stuff. A way to ruin the atmosphere there. That's right. I had to say it. And they battled into the crowd throughout pretty much the whole break. Then they got a ladder. And look, I know this stuff was a callback to it. But you can do an I Quit match without involving about 18 million weapons. Oh, wait, no. They only did about 17.5 million weapons. 18 million weapons came a little bit later. Copeland was bleeding after his stair bump. That did add to it. And look, they took it seriously, and I'm glad that these guys were able to walk out under their own power because they ain't young men anymore. Excuse me. And they have, they've had head trauma, they've had neck trauma. I'm glad they're still able to do this at a somewhat high level. But the splash misses. The referee has the mic. No, Christian Cage keeps saying no. They go to the stage. Christian gets tossed off. We go to the hockey net. And then Shayna Wayne shows up with a hockey stick. This is pucking crazy is what it is. And a stick in the mouth. I don't know why. Stick in the mouth, stick in the face. And then we get chairs. And they get a barbed wire chair. And this is where I started to groan. Because, look, I knew that they were going to bring out that board with nails in it, the spike. And I hated it because I get that it was kind of a callback to when Edge, just saying, had his feud with Foley, the barbed wire bat and all that. And I get it. I do get it. But I'm sorry, if you're going to overuse weapons to the point, it's just going to become numbing. And that's kind of what this did. Now, they kept it up and the crowd was into it. The live crowd was really into this shit. I was really trying here. And then they had, they had Copeland get a choke on or whatever. A Canadian family man that won the Royal Rumble from a #1 position. And, boy, he's choking somebody out. God, I hope the dogs are out of the enclosed pool area. Nick Wayne and Lucha Switch show up. I know his name's Kill Switch, but let's just combine the names and have some fun, which is more than I was having watching this drag after a while. Garcia and Menard. Garcia not doing the dance with no pants. Menard, who should not do commentary. I can't listen to his commentary. He annoys me. It's a mess. A DDT on the barbed wire chair, and Lucha Switch instantly just kind of ow, because ow, my mask. It probably did hurt. And then Nick Wayne gets sent over the top, but they do it badly, so he ends up kicking Lucha Switch right in the head. And then Copeland, does some stuff, and basically everyone just got cuffed. You have this cuffing season, as the kids say. I know that's not how that works. So yeah, Lucha Switch gets cuffed in one corner, Nick Wayne gets cuffed in another corner, and Shayna Wayne is like, huh, what the hell's going on here? Wait, you got handcuffs? I'm not into this. I'm leaving. I like Shayna. It was kind of humorous that she's just like, really don't want to be involved in this. And then Christian Cage got handcuffed. He wouldn't quit. And then Copeland took forever to get Spike out of his box. And then swung right to the board with the nails in it, right into his crotch. And then he was going to do it again, and Christian Cage quit. Yes, Copeland won, and I get it. They've had the patriarchy, and everybody interfere a lot. And I get that you got to include some weapons just in this modern presentation, but this annoyed me. It was nice that Copeland won, but this took a while to get to it. They had such an overrun that I think by the time from entrance to the end, I think was over 30 minutes. I think it might have actually been close. I think it might have actually been 40. Nevertheless, Copeland is the new TNT champion. We celebrated with confetti, and then they fade to black. Actually, we faded to black before, and came back just for Christian to quit. Because you can't manage your fucking time, Con. Like Con's going to be watching this. Copeland won, and then we go to Rampage, and the Gangbang Gang is at the pool. We have a golden bat, and we have a golden skeleton. For reasons I don't know. So, the Acclaimed show up and say, we should have known this was coming, you think. Billy Gunn is not able to travel. I wonder if the Gangbang Gang can be arrested for beating up the elderly. Will you be serious? They're coming for the Gangbang Gang. I know what their name is. It's funnier this way. This went a while. They mentioned how Jay couldn't get the job done. And how maybe he should have signed somewhere else. Ooh. Taking shots at WWE. God, I love it. I love it. I loved it so much when WCW did it, when WCW was drawing much bigger ratings. This went longer than it needed to, and considering what was on the rest of the show, yeah, was what it was. Okay, Orange Cassidy and Trent against Hobbs and Fletcher in a tag tournament wild card match or whatever, and Cassidy beat Fletcher in 11 minutes. That is what you're presenting on a live Rampage right after Dynamite with maybe a pretty good sizable amount of the audience, as opposed to a pretty good small amount of the audience. So yeah, Cassidy pinned Fletcher. Then Shibata took on a guy named Kevin Matthews, who's a big lad, and fell to a choke and a PK. And that was just to get Shibata a win. You know, it's nice that Shibata is actually able to get out there and wrestle with his new brain. Copeland celebrating backstage. Then Takeshita took on Rocky Romero. For what reason? I don't know. I mean, Rocky, I guess, is an agent back there. Or backstage as opposed to front stage. And you know what? Rocky can work. Wish he wouldn't have praised Elgin so much on New Japan commentary, but whatever. Michael Elgin, there's somebody I hope is just rotting away horribly. So, yeah, Romero can work. He focused on the arm after, you know, a couple of different spots. Don Callis ended up distracting. Takeshi kept selling the arm, but did hit a blue thunder bomb. Romero kept going, you know, for broke. Tried to go for the slice bread, that didn't work. And then eventually fell to the Falcon Arrow 1, 2, 3. Not a bad match. It was what it was. You know, it was a fine TV match. The thing is Rampage, this is the first Rampage I think I have watched since they had Rampage and Collision back-to-back, like one day. Because I had nothing else to do. I really can't, I'm probably not even going to be reviewing Collision for a while. I mean, I'm not going to review it this weekend. There's no Collision. That's why Rampage is on tonight. Or was on right after Dynamite because of the NCAA tournament. Package on the previous street fights. You know, like all the ones where the talented women can do stuff and then they just have to resort to weapons because Khan loves his ECW and his, you know, his Onita stuff. Thankfully, nobody has tried an exploding barbed wire So Statlander and Willow against Julia and Sky in a street fight. Okay, at least there's history here and they've tried to build something. I will give them that much credit. I forget who the last ones were. I know there was Allie and Anna Jay and some other people in it. I don't remember who the others were, but I remember there was a lot of blood. Okay, so they brought weapons to the ring. I believe it was Statlander and Willow that brought weapons to the ring, and everybody just started swinging weapons and really didn't stop swinging weapons or using weapons. And look, if I got annoyed with what they did in the I Quit match, literally not even an hour before this match started, or maybe an hour or so before this match started, and I got upset with it even though they'd had a pretty decent build here, and I appreciate what these women bring to the table. Julia has a great look, has improved. Sky has a great look and has improved. Willow has tremendous energy and also is strong. Statlander, now that she got away from that alien stuff and that is in the rear view mirror, at least, you know, she is presented like an athlete and everything. You know what? This wasn't athletic in any way, shape, or form. I'm sorry. This was shit. And I would have hated it regardless of who was involved. They just hit each other with weapons just constantly. There were table bumps. A code blew onto Willow on the announcer's table. And then, you know, we get tax because we just can't fucking control ourselves. That's the one thing about Mick Foley that I wish he hadn't done in the Hell in a Cell, is bring out the tax. Even though it was a cool visual, in hindsight, so many people were like, oh, we could use tax. Not understanding that Foley, Taker, and others that used the tax before were actually, you know, beneficial. No, we're just going to use tax and be dangerous and everything and put tax in Statlander's mouth because we don't want to present our women's division seriously. It's bad when the men do it. It's bad when the women do it. It was bad when the Bucks did the tax in the mouth. It's bad when the women do it here. Table crash for Willow and Sky, a 450 onto a pile of chairs. Great if Statlander hadn't recovered from 2 knee surgeries. And Julia taps out Statlander, and that's all I have to fucking say about that. Look, it's garbage. Just fuck it. God damn it. Have your women have, like, this insane match. If you want to bring out a few weapons, fine. You don't need to bring out the tax. You want to have them bleed? Fine. I don't care. But you don't need to bring out tax and other shit like this and everything. They can have a match and incorporate weapons, not have weapons and, and just, build the match around that. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. That's stupid no matter what company does it, and I hate it. And it needs to go away from wrestling, but it won't as long as Khan has the money, the TV, and the inability to say no to people and say, no, we're actually going to try to book something coherent. Thanks, guys. Anyway, so agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentland. I'll see you soon.